Welcome to Bookie's Place. And you know what we do here? We don't talk about the glit and the glam. We talk about the grit and the grind. And we bring your favorite people to share their personal stories, to encourage you so that you know that if this person that I like so much went through that and he's standing, I have no excuses. And today, we have in the building the one and only, the brain behind a lot of songs that you guys have absolutely no idea that he's the one behind it. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll for the one and only Wole Oni.
Yeah. What's up?
Two fingers in your head.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to
Wow,
see you.
you look amazing. I can feel the glory of God upon you.
It's the glory. Wow, so good to see you. I know you are super busy, so thank you so much for taking time out to do this. We've heard about you for a long time. It is now time to put a face to the name. Let everybody see the genius. I mean, you are a genius.
Thank you.
Genuine. But thank you for all you've done for the music industry, gospel, secular, everything. We just, on behalf of everybody, I say thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Thank God for that. Thank you for everything that has happened. And there's still many more. In fact, I'm just coming out of my element, We're just starting,
Yes.
It's 6 a.m. in the morning. So for me, it's just a new start. So
Amen.
I'm grateful.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Yes.
And thank you for what you do, because I've seen, everything that you put together is very beautiful. Well done. It's very inspiring, and I'm sure people have been very blessed, seeing this.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you. In a world where everything is so unstable, politics is crazy, government is insane, the parents can't parent, the children have gone rogue, it's just some little balance, when we bring people like you up there to share your story. You know what the silver screen does to people? It makes people feel untouchable. And Shebi, you are superstar. And Shebi, you can understand what we are doing, But when they hear that you went through that and you're standing, they're like, oh my gosh, I can stand too. I have no excuses. So that's what Boukquit's Place is about. It's about ordinary people in their ordinary lives doing extraordinary things. So when I show up now, you start with your story, where you were born, all the way to wherever you want to take it to. We're here for it. So welcome to Boukquit's Place. And
thank you. Okay, hello everybody. It's good to be here today. My name is Ambassador Wole Oni once again, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited, and I'm going to just share my journey. I call it my journey. People call me WOMP. WOMP means Wole Oni Music Production. So that's just the acronym that I have for myself, WOMP. So I'm from Ondo State, Upper Ondo State in Nigeria, West Africa, and I grew up in a Christian, from a Christian home where my parents were into, the church thing and all of that. So that's where I picked my music from playing the local drums. They call akuba, which is conga anyway, but in Africa we call it akuba. So I played that, and then from there I moved to play the drums. I moved to play the bass guitar. And then I moved to play the keyboard. The keyboard was my last instrument. Now, because the church that I was, attending was an Orthodox church. So in the 80s, there was nothing like, very exotic keyboard that we have now, or instrument like that. It was just the basic, what do we call fakafiki? It's just harmonics. You pump your leg with the volume to get the volume. So that was my father would play that, and I would play the conga and the rest of that. So in the church that I was, when it passed, I wanted to play the keyboard, and because we didn't have anybody to play the keyboard, so there's a man who was filling in the gap, for the church. But of course, it wasn't very consistent, and church wanted to have someone who can be trained. So this is the choir that I was, and there were many people in that choir. And many people volunteered to want to learn the keyboard, but because I was picked, about 3 of us were picked to go learn the instrument. And there was so much rioting about, no, let the man who is going to teach come to the church. We cannot allow Wole just to learn alone. And so there was opposition to whether to learn the keyboard or not. And then previous Sunday afterwards, I went to meet this man, who plays the keyboard for the church, who comes once in a while. And I said, I want to learn this keyboard. And he looked at me and said, oh, you're too young. You can't learn this keyboard. It's too advanced. Old people play this keyboard, not young people. So that was the first audio. I went like, wow, okay. And I moved on. But of course, the choir wanted somebody badly to represent them, accompany them during praise and worship and Thanksgiving and all of that. So I took it upon myself, okay, I will learn this stuff. And guess how much the choir had to contribute? It was less than 2 cents.
Wow.
So it took them like a month to contribute 2 cents for me to learn the keyboard. So when they gave the money to me, they said, well, we're giving you this money. Don't let us down. Don't let us down. Okay, so I took this money. Trust me, I've not told anybody this story before. This is fresh. This is very new. So now, my school, where I was in secondary school, the school that I would go to the piano lessons, sports, was about 5 miles. And I finished school at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, all sun. It was really sunny. Africa, our Africa environment is not like here. You guys have good weather. It was very sunny. So I would trek from there to the place to learn the keyboard in sun.
Miles.
Yeah, miles to get there. And one of the days that I was going, I said to myself, saying, what am I even looking for? Do I need to go to learn this keyboard? What's this wala now? But somebody kept saying, you gave your word. You gave your word. So you go get it. So because of that, and then another thing that also made it very interesting were 2 things. One, first of all, I had a dream before I even started playing the keyboard. And I was playing keyboard to a Western audience, meaning that, okay, Caucasian and all those people were in the gathering, and I was playing keyboard. And at this point, I couldn't even play. I didn't know what is key C on keyboard. I didn't know what it was. So that dream was one. Then in the choir, there was this girl I just liked. I liked this girl in the choir, and she was always saying, "Oh, Wole," So it is that young crush. So sometimes God uses those things to get you fixed.
Yes.
So the guy said, if you can play this keyboard, I'll give you a kiss. A kiss. That was like priceless for me. Like, my God, So
motivation.
That motivated me a lot to say, okay, let me learn this keyboard. So I went ahead and I was learning in 2 weeks. This man didn't come to church for 2 weeks. So the other week, my church is this Anglican church that every service the reverend will stand in front of the church and say, we're going to start our service with hymn 101. They will call the numbers of hymns, and then the organist will play. And I was so short, and it was as if the world was crashing on me. I sat down behind the keyboard and I was sweating. Everybody would say, Wole, is everything okay? I'll try, and I was shaking. First time I would play keyboard in my life in the church, and it was a cathedral church. So I started to play the theme, blah, blah, blah. And I did my bit. It was just one note here, one chord, just trying to, and I pulled through. And it was like, wow, thank you. They couldn't see my head because it was, So, and I did that. And that was how the journey started. Now, I began to improve myself, go for more lessons and all of that. And I started to mix with people. And here, came another opposition. The reverend of the church felt that I'm veering off from the sacred hymn of the church. Why am I playing? It was the King Sunny Ade and Ebenezer Sabi that were reading. The music was the popular music. So I will play the intro because my church is such a structure. When you say Ejeka means that let us pray. People will say Ejeka Sundi, let us sleep a little bit. People will sleep off. So it was boring. It was almost boring. So we're young people in the church, and so I was doing vibes, just bringing all kind of stuff and just to vibe the church, and people were loving it. But this reverend said, "No, we need to do a deliverance for you because you are bringing another spirit. People are too excited in the church." I'm like, is the house of God not meant to be a place of excitement that you are happy being present of God? So From there, I moved on to other churches to be playing. So I got into school to come to Lagos, and I didn't know nobody, you know. And mother would say, no, don't go to that place, go somewhere else, none of that, you know. So God to have it, I had a friend, people who helped me. And it's okay, my church is looking for keyboardists. You can do your school and then do your church, and I was there. And then the first house I got into was where he was cutting. He was cutting too. You know how it is in Lagos, people have to cut. And I got into this place, you know, I'll not mention the name. So yeah, this, you know, person was working, and I accommodated him. So he said, okay, let him come. So when I got to the house, first day, second night, the man said, him and myself, we have to leave the house. Ah, to where? I'm like, I'm new in Lagos. And my parents want me not to come. My mother said, no, don't come to Lagos. They heard that hoodlums and all kind of stuff has happened. They don't go there. And I said, I want to go. This is where my dream is. But I knew nobody there, you know. And the guy said, we should, guess what? He said we should leave the place by 11 midnight, 11 p.m. at night. And you know, in Lagos, once it's 9 o'clock, everything will wind down.
Yeah.
So once it's 10, 11, 12, you're on your own. Anything can happen to you.
Mm.
So I came out of his house. I sat down and I said, God, this is not what you told me to do. This is not what you promised me, that I'll come to a place, just coming to a place in 2 days, and I'm, you know, even the guy who was helping me too, both of us were all ejected. And the guy said he doesn't care, we should just go. And then we came out with, you know, I just had one raw sack. I just had one, just so I sat down. I didn't know what to do. I was sitting down. I was, you know, mosquito was biting me. I didn't know what to do. I was just miserable. So he was trying to, I mean, at that time there was no phone call. There was no phone like GSM now. It was just, it's either you did landline or you go and meet people, you know. So you can't just ring a phone and say, okay, hello, can I come to your house or crash? So we now had to work from, if you know where Allen Avenue is, to Idiroko, Maryland. We walked down there at midnight. Just walk down there. We got to the church.
How old were you by this time?
I was already a teenager, you know. I was already a teenager, maybe like 20 or thereabout, you know. So when I got to this place, the church, of course, was locked. It was not a Sunday that everybody will be open. So the gate man said, okay, you know, he's familiar with the guy, so he let us in. And then we picked bench, 2 benches, just to sleep on it. I've never in my life slept on a bench. That was the first time. And it looked as if I was fighting the gate of hell that night, because I couldn't move. When I sleep on it for 20 minutes, I'll wake up. I'll say, oh my gosh, oh, this music, why am I in this state? And there's no phone to say, I want to call my parents. It's okay, maybe wire money to go to hotel. I don't even know where anything, you know, nothing like that. So we slept like that. And mosquitoes was our companion throughout the night. So I woke up in the middle of the night. I sat down all through on the seat, just on the seat, you know. And early morning, you know, the pastor of the church came and said, okay, we're going to get you a house, but, you know, you got to come. So he called a brother in the church and said, okay, he's going to accommodate us. So we were happy, because now the bad is that E2 was cutting with his friend where we're going again in Surulere. So we said, okay, fine. So we took a bus and we got there, and then he made good food for us. It was very accommodating, you know, and we started to enjoy everything. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, this is good. This is better than where I would have been before. Of course, I didn't know. So I was going to the church, and the church said they would pay me 4,000 naira. 4,000 naira is about $10 per month. That was a huge money. Wow. From where I was coming from saying thank you and probably just give you a bowl of rice. That was all you would get. And to 4,000 naira, which is about $10. And I moved, you know.
And it wasn't $10 then. It was probably like $1 or some cents back then.
Yeah, back then, exactly. You know, so that was what I was getting at the first salary. And I was, okay, so now I was going there, I was doing it, I was, you know, coming. First month they paid me, second month they paid me. Now the church wanted an admin, church, administrator. I was like, I can step in, I can do it. I can be the church secretary and all that, and just combine out with the school and all that. So I opted for that. So if another pastor was there who was now receiving, let's say $2. So I was receiving half of his salary. And he felt like I should do more. Why am I getting half of his salary? I should do more because he was married. I wasn't married. I was just a single guy. And battle started from there. To say, no, this guy must do this, must do that. I mean, there were all kind of stuff that he was doing just to bring me down. And unknowingly for me, I would come to that church just to, practice and do my stuff. Now, the person who was that was staying in his house had a friend who rented the apartment and asked him to come and stay. So he traveled. So when he came back and saw that there were people in the house, he was very annoyed, very furious. He said, why did you bring people to the house? So I said, okay, what again? Then the guy came 2 days after that and packed everything from the house. The couch, the bed, the kitchen, everything. I mean, imagine that a house that is fully equipped, full furnitures and everything. And then the guy moved everything completely. So it was just the bare floor. And that's where we slept. I was sleeping on the bare floor. No bed. I mean, you cannot afford a bed. So we sleep on that floor. Mosquito, because there was so we had to open the window because there's no, it removed the AC. You might imagine you have the air condition in the house. It was removed. The fan, everything was, it was like as if the whole house was looted. So everything was there. And we left blank, ripped blank. So I would put my shirt on the floor to sleep. So when I sleep on the floor, I wake up with body ache. And then when we wake up, somebody will help me to push my back and say, okay, sorry. Oh, sorry. And then we have to go for service in the morning. And then we have to look good. Or then just dress like everything was okay. But meanwhile, inside, we're just not happy. And then I said, okay, you know what? The $1 that I was being paid can't even be enough for me to transport myself from the church. Sometimes because we will walk from Maryland to Surulere, which is about 4 miles back and forth, just to go to church. And sometimes, so I said, you know what? I'll just stay in church, just to be there and to practice, because I was looking for that break. I was just praying. I was just practicing. There were no gigs. I mean, nobody was calling me for production. If I would get production, maybe once in a year or so. So nobody was calling me. So I can't say that I was making any money from production. So I went ahead. I was just, okay, you know what? I will stay in church rather than coming. So I packed just few clothes. And in church, there was no bed. So I had my desk, my table, and I would just sleep on that table at night. So the office resumed at 8 a.m. So once it's 7 p.m. in the evening, I'll just be there and I'll sleep on the table. And it was such a horrible time. I had pains, I had body aches, I had all kind of stuff. And guess what? The church didn't have a toilet or bathroom to say, okay, so it was just one small toilet. So it's the same place. I'll go to my bath. I'll go, just to present yourself as someone who want to work for the church, that they must be seen as this person representing our church. So when people come in, they realize, Brother Wole, you're not going on. I say, I'm just here. I'm just, waiting. Didn't want to tell them that I'm just hanging around, not to go. And I will sleep on the bed. And mosquito will come and be my companion. And this went on for like 3 months. So people will come and say, you're not looking rested. I say, well, it's okay. And then it got a point. The pastor of the church would come. In fact, the pastor that employed me left the church and said he didn't want to do the church stuff. He wanted to go into secular stuff. So he left the church and came to, they brought another pastor to come to church. So the new pastor was just a new convert from being a Muslim to a Christian. So, they're excited about how everything, to now he's seen everything as demon. He said, we have to pray. So he would tell us to pray and fast with no food, no nothing. Sometimes we're done from church, there's no food. And I'm like, wow, this is really hard, because I've never experienced that in my life before, to say that I want to be on my own. Because my mother wanted me to say, are you sure you want to be on your own? I say, yes, if that's the price I want to pay. From a home whereby you have been taken care of, you have maids serving you, everything is good. And then to being sleeping on the bench, sleeping on the table, just by yourself, nobody to run to, had nobody, and I was just doing it. I was consistent. I was praying. I was doing it. And then one day, I got so fed up with the work because the pastor, who was the assistant pastor of the church, was always accusing us and saying, "You musicians, you are bastard. You musicians, you are this and that." And I'm like, wait a minute. So one day I told him, I said, if you have a son who plays the keyboard, does it mean he's a bastard? Then everywhere scattered. Like, what do you mean? I said, yeah, that's what you're calling us. Don't say that if you cannot accept it as well. So one day, I got a gig to just go play somewhere. And then the pastor said, we're going to have a meeting now. I said, no, pastor, I'm going to a place to go. At least they're going to give me small money. Pastor, if you go now, don't come back again. I said, this is hard though. So at that point in time, I decided myself, do I want to move forward? I want to keep being in a place. So sometimes in our life, maybe I won't use the word convenience, but what is just a bit bearable for us is bearable. We want to manage it, but sometimes God has something bigger. So it will push you. So if you don't push yourself, you'll be stagnant. So I said to myself, you know what? I don't mind, I'll go. If you say I don't come back, then I won't come back. Then I left. And he said, don't worry, he doesn't have anywhere to go, he'll come back. And I left the place. I went for the event. I was paid my little token, the token I was given. And then I went back. There was no church again. There was no salary. So for 3 months, there's no salary. And I thought to God, I said, God, this is not what you promised me. You told me I'll play this music and I will feed the nation. How do you feed the nation when you don't even can't feed yourself? But sometimes still we question God because we can't see the future. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just chill at home and not do anything again. And 3 months I was in the house. And guess what? Someone just called me from nowhere and said, Wole, what's up? Where you at? I said, I'm just in the house. It's a church that needs a keyboard. It's just playing for them only on Sunday. Remember, the church I was coming from, I was playing there Monday to Friday. From Sunday to Sunday. There's nothing like holiday. I was there. From Sunday, I'll go to the office. Monday to I was there 2 times, but they don't care about anything. So this one said, come and play for us just for once a week, which is Sunday only. And if you want to come for rehearsal, fine, but just once a week is good. And they were paying me about $100. I'm like, it's not possible. The guy said, no, I'm serious. It's a mega church. It's a new redeemed church. Come there. So I went there. And lo and behold, I just played one time and they liked it. Wow, it's nice. So they employed me. So I only go there once. I'm saying, wow, this is looking good. From there, somebody said, can you come and work with me and do some studio work and all of that? I said, yeah. So I went there. I was done. This guy gave me like $20 just once. I'm like, So
how did you get into production though? How did you get into production, producing music?
Okay, so now producing music, I've always been doing that since from the 80s. So I play music, and people just don't give me anything. Just say thank you for coming. Maybe they will just give you transportation. That was what I would get. And then I've worked with all kind of stuff. They wouldn't even mention your name. They wouldn't even say thank you. They would just say, okay, that was so. Since the 80s, I've been in music production. But now in the 90s, late 90s now, I've been working with people and all of that. So when this break, came about for me to go to play in the studio, and this guy just gave me $200 for one session, I'm like, this is sweet. So he encouraged me, and I'm glad to begin to work and all that. Then before you know what, a friend recommended me to go and start playing piano for Sheraton Hotel and Towers, and I said, wow, this is good. So I went there, and then normally when they interview you, they don't give you anything, just say, okay, we'll get back to you. So when I was playing for the guy who was the F&B manager, I think guys from Germany or something like that. The guy said, you know what, I've not been so excited by anybody. I'm gonna buy you a drink, I'm gonna give you food, just interview and audition him. And the guy said, you know what, you have the job. Okay, the job got there. Now the other people the admin who worked under him, when I say, how can you be paying down? They were going to pay me like $500 for 2 weeks just to play piano. Meanwhile, I've been playing piano somewhere every day and night with nobody saying thank you. They just walk out. So sometimes God has a lot of things in stock. If only you can believe and just hold on to God. Trust me. It will look like you're wasting your life. It looks like you're not smart. People will think they're not, what's going on? Everybody is doing this. Why not do this? But wait, if you just follow God's step, trust me, you will, have a testimony. So that was my case. And I was doing that. And then the Nigerians, they were saying, oh, wow, why are we paying him so much? So when the guy left Sheraton, they came again and said, you know what, we want to flash up. But I said, that's not what the guy said. They gave me a comment saying, that's the guy is gone. Now, we are Nigerians are the one who are here and not Oyibo now. So then I said, you know what, I'm not going to do it. So I left and I focused on my performances. And then came about, fast forward now, I now have met a friend, Ayo Sri Lanka, who now said, well, you know what, let's have a band, let's be playing. And we're playing together, and at that time, we were playing in some places in Koi and all of that, just to, keep going and all of that. We're doing shows, we're doing gigs. I was still doing church, and then these two women saw us and said, you know what, we want to sign you, Rachel Stevens and ABD. And they signed us and they call us Ibeji. And we said we want to have a band. So we started to have a band called Pepper 4. My very self, Ayo Sri Lanka, Nathaniel Bassi,
Wow.
to St. Paul. We're all doing jazz together. We play at big pageants, we go to different events. At this point in time, we're now beginning to see that, okay, so there's a good side to music. Good side to being rewarded awesomely. And then I tell you the story that now broke the camel's back is my manager said, okay, you know what, Wole, I want to help you with your production. So at that point in time in Lagos, maybe the highest person you paid, maybe I think 98, 99, 2000 thereabout. The highest we pay a producer in Nigeria would be about $200 for an album. And the lady said, you know what, I can make them pay you $5,000. I'm like, oh, that's not possible. So now, when God is about to change your story, He will bring you people that will make you feel that no, it's not possible. But they will keep telling you, let's try it. So you also need faith to believe that it might look like a joke, but trust me, if you step into it, things can happen. So we were going to go on the first job to go get this deal. It was Premier Music. I was producing the Bouquis, the lady that said, "You are my number one." So I was going there to negotiate for this business, and the lady said, "Okay, you know what? This is American." She said, "I'm going to go with you." And then first time in my life, she went with me with patrol, with this that. We went in exotic cars, and we got. I'm like, wow, really, this is good. So when the people saw us that this producer came with soldiers and what happened now? The ladies told them that, okay, I want you to pay my producers $5,000. They said, no, it's not possible. We have no one done that to anybody. So she spoke to them and made them understand that internationally, you're going to sell it. So she was analyzing how much they're going to make. So they said, okay, let's go discuss. And guess what? It was going to do it myself. Probably I won't get more than $500 just to do my thing. But we ended up making $4,000 as a deal from that point that day. So that kind of opened my eyes. Everybody kept saying, we had a Wole Oni in Lagos. He's being paid this amount. Who is paying that? So that changed the story. I was the first person who started to pitch for payments before the rest of these people are coming there and saying, I'm being paid. I was the first person who started to charge or get paid as awesomely with this in Nigeria. Because at that point in time, I wanted to change the face of the music in Nigeria. People were used to just recording, the sound gear and tones were not very. So I started to put, acoustic elements and digital. I tried mixing that together to be able to achieve, international sound. And then when I produced Falake Omose, was like, wow, was the job done in Europe or America? And I said, no, Lagos here. So that kind of opened us up.
Can you sing, as you tell us the story, sing the song so that it refreshes their minds?
Okay, so people sing like, I'm sure you guys know that song. So,
Yeah.
so when I produced that song, even the woman, because at that point in time, like I said, my manager already made me feel that you don't let them pay you, don't let them pay you cheap. Now, let me tell you, before this job came, there was a guy who was working with me. He couldn't afford to pay me. So sometimes, too, it's good to give. It's good to be kind. This guy came to me and said he wants to produce a song. He wanted to produce this music and all that. So I said, okay, I will produce you. And he couldn't afford me. So, in fact, he promised to pay me $100. $100, he will pay $10 today, $5 tomorrow, So it was like jaka jaka. You know what they call jaka jaka? Anyhow, scatter,
Three
scatter.
for 50 today.
But then I had faith in that if I do it, anybody could hear it, and that's one of the mistakes people make sometimes in life. If you have not been heard, don't start to build walls around yourself. Wait till when God showcase you first. Let the light shine. Don't keep the lights hidden, and then you are demanding what. See, people can't put money or anything into what they don't believe. You have to create your trust. You know, your brand has to be a trusted brand. For example, some of the brands that we know today that are notable, maybe like Coca-Cola and the rest of them, they still do advert, but then because they're trusted brands, people can easily jump into them. So people first you need to establish yourself as upcoming artists or musicians or whatever it is, to establish yourself first. When people know that you are good at what you're doing, you can deliver. Because you see people in Africa with so many credentials and CVs. You know, when it's time to deliver, they can't deliver. It's just paperwork. So
brand integrity, yeah,
exactly. So you need to have integrity with what you have going on. You know, so that was what I did that helped me to be able to channel that. So it was the job from no payment when somebody heard and said, you know what, I had one production from one guy. Let's use him. That was how the premier job came about. And from there, the job got the Cora Award in South Africa. We went there. And from there, at other jobs, then Tosin Martins came about. Wole Oni, the song that you played today, beautiful song.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I said, okay, just help me. I don't really have much, And I said, because we played together in like, and I said, okay, I would support you, and then we made it. So sometimes too, you need to agree with people. You need to be in sync with them to be able to have your music or everything you're doing come to reality. Because if you don't agree, you can't work together. Bible even said that can two work together if you don't agree. So you have to agree. So we agreed, and the agreement kind of helped us to be able to project the Wole Oni. When it came out, everybody kept saying, "Oh wow, what a beautiful song!" I mean, it was like the new wedding song in town. Everybody was singing it, from there, we went into blessings, there were many things that were coming our ways, different events here and there. And for the first time, I was called upon to perform when the Queen of England came to Nigeria for the Commonwealth, and my band was part of the band that performed there, and I'm like, wow, how can that be? So I'm telling you that sometimes if you don't see the future and you're trying to judge your present time or present moment with yourself, you're going to shortchange yourself. So imagine when the man told me, don't play the keyboard, you are too young for it. And I said, okay, you know what, I'll just be playing, I don't know, there was no Yahoo then, so I was, like people do now. So but then I had to believe, I held on to the dream I had about me playing. And fast forward to many years afterwards, when I'd done several hit songs from Igwe, all of that, so to other great songs and all of that. And this brand came and said, they've been looking forward to endorse somebody from Africa because they want to be able to penetrate African market. And Nigeria is their biggest market. But here they had nobody they've endorsed in Africa. Meanwhile, their product is being sold in Africa. So they were checking out all kind of stuff. In fact, some people will say, okay, they want to take a form. I said, you know what? I'm not going to take any form. If they want to come to me, let them come. And lo and behold, they came and I said, okay, we wanted to join. We wanted to work with us, in Yamaha. Would you be glad? I'm like, are they crazy? Who know Yamaha? You say Yamaha.
Will I be glad if you have finished working the contract, sir? Finished.
Because of course, in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, we've used that, the brand for
PSR 400.
Yeah, the SY, so we've used all that kind of stuff, and when he came, and they just, okay, you know what, we're going to meet you. And we're gonna just meet you. And so when they met me, I was just talking. They were doing their interview, but I didn't know that. I was just saying my mother, you know what, it's okay. And then the guys, okay, we'll contact you again. And then next thing tell me, oh, we're coming to Nigeria on Wednesday. Please come. We're gonna give you a keyboard. I'm like, just like that. Because Because the guy told me that they are for many years they've actually rejected people. When people come and bring their their CVs and all that to them to endorse them, they will reject everything. They will do all kind of stuff to them and say, you know what, we don't want to have anybody, we don't want to endorse anybody. So they would reject them. So but mine, they just one time, then I was the first to be endorsed in Africa. And they gave me a keyboard. It seemed like a dream. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just share. And they told me, we're paying you this, we're paying you. I'm like, just like that in foreign currency.
Wow.
You know? And they said, okay, you know what, do us the first video. So I did the first video because see, sometimes too, preparedness is very important. When God brings the blessing to you, if you're not prepared to handle it, it can slip off your hand. So I was ready to say, whatever it takes to keep this thing going, I did it. So the first video, I spent like a week putting the music together, because see, that's the perception I want to change about our African mindset, about not paying attention to details. People just do things anyhow, So I learned that from my mother, not to do anything anyhow, because you never can tell who will be listening or who will be watching you. So just put your best, if like your last best. Like after this, if there's nothing for me to do, then people will say you've done well for yourself. Mm-hmm. So I put in my best into it. I got a lot of material because it's different when an African person is playing the instrument, because when you look at it, it was crafted for the Western world, basically. So to come from the Western sound into African sound, so I said, okay, you know what? I need to innovate something that can depict Africa, depict us, because this is who we are, So when I did that first video, I put on that's the first video you put on the promo.
The flyer, and
they saw the costume and everything I did. I was like, wow. So in
with your red bottoms.
Exactly. Let me sure everything was really on point. And from the Dubai office to the US office, we were really impressed that wow, from Africa. So they said, this guy has come for our convention. No African has been to the convention. No one. So you only have distributors who go there just to buy, But to say you bring in an African musician from Africa, no. So I was the first person to be on that convention. And I'll tell you one thing. When God is with you, everything will be smooth, even though you see opposition. So when I got there in Dubai, we happened in Dubai in 2017. And I got there, and the guy said, you know what? You're going to perform first to the to non-speaking English audience, which is Russians and all of that. That if you do anything and they don't clap and they don't laugh or they don't smile, don't mind them because they're just rich men. They don't just like to be happy. And I can know. I can't fly many hours to this place and perform. And you guys don't clap. I said it's not possible. So I prepared myself. So when I got there, so I was speaking English. Somebody would interpret because they wanted to just be sure that can this guy do this thing, because they had this fear about Africa, about I said I'll prove you guys wrong. So when I got there, the lady interprets. I said to them, I said, I'm gonna be happy to be here today. They're looking at me. I said, okay. So I said to them, I said, how many young people are in the building? They look, don't say anything. I said, okay, how many people are wood and are ready to die tomorrow? And they said, no. I said, yes, I need your attention. I said, now look at me. So I was communicating with them in my plane. And they were like, wow. When I was done, they stood up and was clapping. Their boss came to me and said, what did you do? How did you do? I said, that's African secrets, God's secrets. God's secrets. So the other guy told me that their boss did about 4 pages note on me, how I performed. So from there, boom, other things happened. Other performances internationally, master classes and all of that. Now, there came about, if you look at the history of the keyboard, there's nothing African there. They might call something taco drums or something flutes, but we don't have our African sound there. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, all the distributors from Kenya, from Nigeria, from Uganda, from South Africa have been fighting them to bring African content into their keyboard. But they said, we tried it, but no, we're not. So when I did something, I had a sample, talking drum. So I used the keyboard to play it. Because sometimes that must give you smartness, wisdom, to be smart, a serpent. So I put the talking drum using the montage to sync it, and I released it out there. And then people were calling them, there's something we heard from Wole Oni there's talking drum on the keyboard. They said they don't have talking drum. I said, no, why didn't you use the keyboard to do it? So they had no choice to call me and say, you know, something you did, can you help us? I said, you're going to pay me for that. So they said, okay, how are you going to do that? I said, okay, now you want to make me a consultant first. They don't make people consultants. They only make you an artist who play. I said, I want to be a consultant in Yamaha. They went away, okay, we agree, we'll make a consultant. That's first thing. Now they came and said, okay, we're going to do the sum for me. This is what they're going to pay. I said, no, I want this payment to be, pay me this. I said, no, nobody tells. I said, yes, I'm telling you that because I know my worth. So you need to understand your time and season when it comes to you. So, because if you don't, you will still be praying the same, bless me, Lord, bless me, Lord. God has already blessed you. How are you, creating the blessing? How are you making it to reality? So,
yeah.
So I said, you know what, I don't want to, I can't be paid like that. So they went back to their offices and, because the headquarters is in Japan. So they went there and so this guy said, okay, you know what, give him. And then they came back to me like 2 weeks, okay, you know what, we're going to pay you that. I'm like, really? Ooh, I can't tell you how many, thousands of dollars.
Jealousy when we come here today, we start beefing.
Yeah, so that was like a major break. Now, going forward,
so you were the one who made them put all the talking drum in the Yamaha? You should have been telling me. I would have been boasting everywhere I head. You know that I know the person that made them.
Yeah, so that keyboard was made first time in the history of keyboard in the world last year. First keyboard with talking drum. Came out last year. First keyboard in the world with talking drum. And then when we went to Germany, because we had to, we sampled it in Atlanta, then we crafted it, because the studio that we went to do it in Germany the studio has been for over 40 years, where in fact, you can see the keyboard that we played in that place. All kind of instruments in that studio. One big studio, in Germany. And then we got there, we have different guys on computer who was simulating sound. Trust me, when you hear a keyboard, just keyboard tone, the tone you have there is not just one, it's layered. So let's say for one talking drum sound, we have it like 8 to 9 layers of different sounds. It's just playing one. So there's so much going into it to compress the sound, because they had over 16 terabytes of samples. So we were there for days. I was giving them what to do. They turn around, the EQ system, the compression and everything. And then finally, it was done. So they sent me a sample. I said, okay, it's done. Tell us if it's good. I said, okay, it's good. Now, correct this, put this there. And it became a success. So they were happy. Because now, prior to that year, when they had another convention, I was not in this convention. So the African whole entourage went there for the convention. And they wanted to do Makosa, High Life, and they caught somebody, I don't know who did it, and they said, no, we don't want this. This is not our sound. Okay, it's not our people now. If it's not our own, it's not our own. They said, no, this is not our sound. They was very disappointed. He said, call Wole now. Wole can do it for you. Say, hey, Wole. So they came back to me and said, can you do us Afrobeats? I said, okay, I'm going to do Afrobeats Juju style. They said, Juju, yeah, Juju style. So I give them the history of what it is that our music, because that's our sound. Juju music is our background. Apala, Fuji. This is our original sound from Nigeria. So I did them 3 sounds. So if you have PSR XX 900 or 700, you will see that it has African Juju, African Afrobeat.
That was you?
Yeah, I did that.
Hey, so I bet you want me on this product. Let me just want to. Wow.
Yeah, so I put that there. So that kind of, took us into the limelight that, okay, there are some people who their culture is unique in the world. And look at it from the angle of where Black Panther movie was done. People were saying, oh, I wish they have contacted you. No, I said, don't worry, we're still building up. We're just coming up. Yeah, it's party coming up. So to the glory of God, it's been a very beautiful journey. To be able to come in from sleeping on the bench, sleeping on the table, to be able to, have a house, have lands. I can't count what I've gotten through music. The kind of blessing God has opened onto me, and be able to feed other people. Because right now I see I have staff. They're paid them salary. Even as the pandemic is going on, they are happy, they are smiling, they're not, their salary is intact. So it's great when God gave you talent and you're able to maximize it, you're able to use it to the glory of God to also help people, to enrich other people, not just for yourself. Because I see one thing about talent and gifts, and it's not for you, it's for people to be blessed. So if your talent and gifting is not blessing people, then trust me, you don't have a talent. Your talent must be a blessing. That's everything that God has created in the world is supposed to be a blessing. The water we drink, the food we eat is blessing our body. In everything we do, so you must be a blessing. You must give back also. You must be a blessing. So this instrument for me, as in a way, got me so much that it's opening doors. In fact, I won't mind. I won't lie to you. I want to fly on first class and all of that. I've been introduced to other businesses, maybe like oil and all that. You do one thing, you do it good, you do your diligence, and you are very attentive, and you do it well. Other channels of business will come to you, and I've seen other stream of income as well coming through. Just you doing what you're doing, and you are diligent and you are consistent. God will take that. He said, just like a case of a man with 1 talent and one with 10 talents, you maximize what you have. You don't complain saying, I can only sing, I cannot dance, or I can only dance, I can't sing. Anything you have as a man, everybody is blessed. But everyone has a gift and everyone has a talent. If you maximize it, from that one thing, other things will come to it. Trust me. And that's when Bible says that a man that diligent in his work will sit with kings. I mean, I've served with kings, in Middle East and all of that. I mean, I've been to a place whereby I entered a palace that was made with gold. It's not gold. It's not good. That is, it's original thing. Or you're like, and they are going to say, "Oh, thank you for coming," because you played the keyboard, because you played excellently. So it's a matter of you doing what you're doing, do it well, be excellent with what you do.
Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do it with all your heart unto the Lord and not unto man.
Right. So that's the thing that I will encourage young people to get into, because today you find out people who want to make money, the get rich quick syndrome.
I want blue.
And then other guys are going into frauding people and all of that. You see them online, and for the record, I experienced this recently. When people think that they can be smart and they just want to fraud you, because you look at the way the world is going. Trust me, anything that you plant, that you grow, without a clean background, it will crash. It's like building your house, on the sand, not on the rock.
Don't talk now, yeah.
So it's important that you solidify yourself. So when I think back about how God brought me from where I was into where I am today, I mean, I can't. It's like worlds apart. You understand what I'm saying? From being a keyboardist who carries the keyboards on your shoulder, you follow band. Because I want to see, I've played with Fuji, I played with Juju. I mean, on one occasion that we went to go and play somewhere because I was in school, and then when we finished playing, this all night you play in Beria. I know what they call Beria in the way we do it in Africa. You play with a book and spray money. It's like somebody who has spent money doing is our mother's fair burial and recoup money. So we will play from, let's say, from 7 p.m. to like 5 a.m. in the morning, and then we played. So when it was like 4 a.m. we approached them. Where's our food? They'll give you, say, lady. By the time we got the food, trust me, it was the leftover. We saw bones. They are eating it and they had put it back to want me to give it to us, and say, wow. So I'd come from that angle of seeing how men can be very evil, how men can be very wicked in treating people, just to make you feel that you don't matter now. Who are you, by the way? But trust me, when God has a plan for you, it will change your story, and you look like, how has this happened? Like I said, there's many things I'm working on now that, my aim is to project Africa, project the world differently, so that to promote unity and see how the UN international thing came about. I wasn't even thinking about it. It was because they saw what I've done, helping young people to develop their talent and I said, okay, well, it'd be nice for you to be on this board. Let's have you come. and then boom, they put me on it, and like you ain't like that. So I go around to promote the culture of unity and love, to teach young people, to help them so that they can see better, in their future. See that this is what I have ahead of me. If you know that you're connected to people, that people depend on you to survive, then you will behave well. Everybody who is made in this world, you are a link to someone. You are a channel to someone. So don't just think I can truncate that and just be on my own. I don't say anybody. I don't care about you. Care about everything, because see, you're not just created to be a human for fun. Else you'd have been a dog or be a goat. Somebody can use the pepper soup, but you are human. It means you have a purpose. It means you have somewhere that God wanted to go to help other people. Nobody has become the best of anything without having to be rated. People who rate people and say you are the best of this, you are the best of that. So you can't say I'm the best when you're not being rated. You can be best when only you have been rated with other people. So that's how it works in life. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Wow. Listen, all my questions, the great thing about this was all my questions you were answering as you were saying your story. So I'm grateful for that. We live in a society where we despise little beginnings. I mean, okay, let me say that again. We don't live in that society here because we don't live in California. Where are they? I'm in Delaware. But we came from a society where they despise little beginnings. So you have a talent, you give a brand, they're like, hey, let's see what you have done with it. Let us see it, and it's so shameful. How can a young man or woman or whatever listening to you now take whatever they have? Let me see, we have 6 minutes more. How can they take what they have and not despise it? How did you? Because what we do here is we give them practical tools, practically. What did you do to make sure you didn't give up when they kicked you out of the house and you were homeless and all that? What did you do practically? Did you sit down and say, man, how did you get to the resolve, to that point of resolve that I won't give up?
So for me, like I said, I had a dream of where I was going to. I was shown this is who you will be. But it's not everybody who will be privileged to see themselves in the dream. Or maybe your parents are not very spiritual to say, okay, you are this, you are that. But know that you are born for a reason. You are born to be a winner. You're born to change the world. So for me, those are the things that were keeping me going. I said, you know what, even if I can't eat food, even if I don't have food on myself, I will still go forward. So those were my driving force. To say, okay, this is where I'm going to. So when the Yamaha thing came about, and I got the first keyboard, the Montage, I sent it to a friend who is a medical doctor. We used to play together. We used to play the PSR 510 or thereabout in the 90s. That was like the first PSR that came out and it was really, really nice. And he said, well, I used to say that you want to do demos for the Yamaha. I said, yes. I said that's about 20 something years ago, maybe 28 years ago when we used to play. I said, I want to play demo for Yamaha. He said, you kept saying it, and now see what it has happened. I said, be watchful of what you say into the atmosphere. So once you decree a thing, it can be established. So make sure everything you decree is positivity, is positive. It's not just saying anything because you want to say, but say things that you see yourself. Even if you can't see yourself, dream it. Imagine it. And it can come to pass with God on your side. Bible says, with God all things are possible. It's not a lie. With God all things. Not one thing. All. As without leaving anything behind. All things is possible.
Wow. Right? Wow, amazing. I'm listening to you and I'm seeing greatness. And not because you are going to give me $5,000 after this interview. Not because of but I'm saying, listen, I don't know a man that has become successful that didn't have to struggle. We live in a generation where these kids just want microwave quick now. If you're not doing it now, I'm not ready to serve. What is the place of service in becoming?
Okay, now let me tell you something. There's something they call loyalty. Many young people who want to serve people, you call the people, you call your mentors. You're not loyal to them. You serve them, you're expecting to serve them, and then you expect to sleep on their bed when you serve them. No. Many mentors will let you wash their clothes, lay their bed for them, clean their car. But I mean, I don't do that. That's not my own way of doing things. I'll teach people without asking anything. But people are not loyal to serve. Like I give an example. When I was in Nigeria, young people come to me and say, "Sir, I want to be like you. Can you teach me?" I said, "Okay, you know what? Come to my office by 10 a.m. on Monday morning. Monday morning they will get there for 10 a.m. There. Come on Tuesday, same time. They will come late. They will come by 12. On Wednesday they'll get there by 3. Then on Thursday they won't show up. Then on Friday they don't call again. So there's no consistency. So for you to be able to serve, you have to be loyal. You have to be consistent. You have to see yourself as giving a service. Like they become your mini God, not your God, but what I mean is that you reference them, you adore them, because even when you're a leader, you are still serving. Every leader is a servant. You serve people for you to move on and to get there. So for people who are going to be serving, you have to be humble. You need to be teachable. There's no way you can serve people without being teachable, without being humble. So if you don't have all of those elements, trust me, you can't go far.
Wow. Well, you have to have a teachable spirit, and you cannot lead until you know how to serve well,
Exactly.
Yeah, because even leadership is service. Like you said, you're leading, and it's unlike our politicians in Nigeria. They don't believe that it's service. They just feel, oh, once I get there, I'm up. But thank you so much for coming to BOUQUI'S place. Now you're in America. You want to tell us in 1 minute how you transitioned or how you made up your mind that you were leaving Nigeria?
Well, I just feel that this is a new territory. I need to conquer this territory. I still have my office in Lagos. Anybody wants to do music, they can still call me. I have my studio there, I have my staff there. But this is a new territory for me, and I think that this is like the hub of entertainment in the world, Hollywood. So I'm taking the bull by the horn. So I'm here to also promote the African culture, promote our African sound, and also be able to connect, bridge the gap between the African sound and the Western world sound. So that, the rest of those people are trying, Davido and the rest of them, but then in the area of musicianship, because I played before, this is where people ask me, "Are you sure you're from Africa?" I say, "Yes." "Are you sure you're not from New York?" I say, "No, I'm from Africa, Lagos." They say, "Wow, you don't sound like..."
16 seconds left.
Yeah, so I want to be able to bridge that gap, be able to showcase Africa more, put more lights into what we have going on, so that we're able to do the best.
Thank you so much for coming to BOUQUI'S.